Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stop to Sell, the podcast where we pause the traditional way of selling to reconnect with what truly drives performance: human connection, emotional intelligence, and the neuroscience based communication. I'm your host, Eduardo Mouta, and today we are going to explore a topic that sits right at the heart of modern selling: storytelling. How real human stories create trust, connection, and revenue. We live in a world filled with scripts, templates, and AI generated message. Sales teams are trained to lead with features, benefits, and closing techniques. But buyers buy in a completely different way. They buy through emotion, identification, safety, and relevance. And that's exactly where storytelling becomes storytelling. Not entertainment, but influence with authenticity. To explore this with us today, I'm joined by someone who truly embodies this approach to sales. James Beckley. How are you, James?
What is going on? Eduardo, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
James, it's amazing because I follow your contacts in social media and suddenly you are here in my attic. Thanks a lot, James.
Thank you. We have a mutual friend, Mafalda, who connected us, and she is such a friend. I am so fortunate to be connected to her.
Mafalda is amazing. Mafalda is amazing. Oh, and I'm sorry, James. Suddenly my cat appears here. I hope you don't upset.
No, not at all. I have two cats. I am a cat person.
Okay. Thanks a lot, James. So, thanks. We are going to talk about storytelling. And like I told before, how real women's stories create trust, connection, and revenue.
That's right.
And James, when did you first realize that the stories sell better than scripts?
So I would say that in my early years as a sales development rep, an inside sales rep. So my sales experience began in the door to door space. So
Mm-hmm.
I was knocking on doors, residential, and also doing business to business, door to door, walking and riding in vans. I sold vacuum cleaners, I sold pest control, I sold phone lines to businesses. It was very script heavy. You walk in, you introduce yourself, you say the thing, and it worked well because I learned a lot of what I would call tricks. For example,
Okay.
when you're face to face with somebody and you're speaking to them, I would tend to shake my head yes very subtly throughout the conversation. It's very difficult for someone standing across their counter to not agree with most of what I say as I shake my head yes when I speak to them. Now, people might hear this and see this on screen and they might think to themselves, wow, like that's really tricky. I don't like that mental manipulation. Well, that's exactly what that is. When I
Okay.
moved away from in-person sales and went to inside sales, I was cold calling and I was sending cold emails and I was reaching out on social media and sending direct messages. This obviously the shaking of my head up and down completely ineffective while I do these channels. So I had to think of something else. And I have had a very interesting life. I have a lot of experiences. I have a lot of both negative and positive. I
Of
come from a
course.
very I come from a very diverse background. I've done a lot of jobs because I was a job hopper for a long time before I
Mhm.
realized that I was the problem. So I had this ability to tell stories. I also love jokes. I memorize jokes. I have a wealth of jokes in my brain. So being able to have somebody disarmed on the phone or in an email because I sent them a funny meme, these types of things became far more effective than what I was being trained to do, which was call people and tell them this specific thing in this very stoic tone. I think people are tired of that. I am a person that enjoys a good conversation. And I think we can expect that from buyers moving forward. Nobody
Mhm.
everybody loves to buy things, but nobody likes to be sold things. So
That's true.
the script fell flat for me, and my authenticity was what put me in the front. That put me on the leaderboard many, many times.
Okay, that's a good perspective. And James, when you talk about that you are a seller that was going from door to door, suddenly I remember a movie, Door to Door, from Bill Porter. Do you know that movie?
I don't know that movie, but I'm writing it down. I'm definitely going to watch it because Door to Door was where I cut my teeth. I think it's the
No, that's
purest
amazing.
form
That's
of
amazing.
sales.
And you are going to love the story. You are going. I'm not going to be spoiler, okay?
All right,
I just know that you are going to love.
I'll watch it.
So, from your experience, what is the fundamental difference between telling a story and practicing the true storytelling?
Yeah, so I think the thing that matters most to the listener or the viewer of the story is their relationship to the problem. When you're
Okay.
telling a story, it's really easy to get caught up in the minutia of details. I am a reader, and specifically I read high fantasy, Tolkien. And if you know anything about J.R.R. Tolkien, it's very descriptive. He doesn't leave out a single word when it comes to describing a forest or a river or something that he's writing about. This is absolutely detrimental to salespeople. Get to the point. All the fluffy language doesn't serve you in the story that you're telling. Instead, you focus on the impact. And I also think telling a story doesn't necessarily have a specific pattern that engages your audience. Telling a story is one way. When you're story selling, there is a pattern that you follow. You tell part of a story and it leads to a question. That
Okay.
question is then a break in your storytelling, and they get to engage. There is a engagement with your listener when you're story selling that doesn't exist when you're storytelling. That
Okay.
those two things have a very distinct difference, and our listeners feel that difference. You can always tell when somebody is storytelling in a group call on a Zoom meeting, because 4 out of the 6 decision makers are over here doing whatever it is that they do during the meeting, and it's just like you're just being talked at. That's how they feel. But when you're story selling, that's impossible to do, because every time this person tries to look away, you've already asked them a question that they have to answer with some level of thoughtful response. So
Of
being able to
course.
be distracted and answer that question thoughtfully, people have this myth of multitasking. Story selling doesn't allow for multitasking. It
Mhm.
engages the audience so much that they have to focus on it. It's the only thing that matters in the moment. Storytelling, we've all turned the TV on and been scrolling through our phones for 30 minutes.
That's true. That's true, James. That's true. That's so true. And I think that if you just need someone to tell the features to the customers, okay,
Mm.
now you have the AI agent and could do that.
Yeah, well, so I want to talk about that for a minute. And this is probably a
Okay.
really important part of storytelling and story selling. John Barrows, my very good friend and one of my business mentors, someone I've always looked up to, will say that when you talk about features and functions, you're going to talk to people that care about features and functions. But when you talk about business impact, you're going to talk to people that impact the business. And that feels very different. And I think story selling will get us to that impact conversation. But storytelling is going to be that features and functions and stories that relate to like a problem that was solved with your solution or your service. That feels wildly different. So I think that's really
Completely.
important for you to say. When you say features and functions, that is always what I think. You are usually below the power line if you are telling stories about features and functions. Tell stories about business impact. Haha, now you're climbing that ladder.
1%, 100% agree. I that's amazing that phrase, that quote that you give to us.
Yeah.
Why do you think facts alone rarely move people to act, while stories do?
So I want to go. This is probably going to be a little bit deeper of an answer than you usually get for this one, if you ask this question frequently, which I'm sure you do. I
Mhm.
think we're trained, and I think we've always been trained to sell with facts and figures and data. Not that those things aren't important, but they're not the dominant reason people purchase things. Again, my friend John and Morgan J. Ingram and a lot of other sales trainers will agree, people buy solutions for only a couple reasons. You are saving me money, which is the pitch that everybody has. We're saving you time, we're saving you money. All right, fine.
Mhm.
Or you're improving a certain situation.
That's right.
Those are the two main reasons that people buy things. So, in all of your selling, whether you're telling a story or being very direct and transparent with your sales techniques, I think it's important we recognize these conversations have to focus on that particular aspect of it. I think people change their needs when their emotional status kicks in. We're trained to sell with facts and figures and data. People buy with emotion and strain and stress and
Mhm.
problems, right? That need solutions. Those two things don't always line up, right? So if you're hearing, and some of this comes from language, there's something worth noting when you're talking to a prospect, when you're in the meeting with them, when you're showing them something, listen to the language they're using. Are they asking you about data? Are they asking you about numbers? Are they asking you to show them graphs and figures? I hope you have that stuff ready. Are they saying things to you like, this is amazing. This is wonderful. How does this impact my team beneath me? Right? How will this help them to succeed? How will this make my sellers happy? Those people are emotional buyers. I don't
Mhm.
think we should change who we are as sellers. But I think once we pick up on the language our buyers are using, we can adjust our approach to be able to mirror that particular matter. I think it's always said that people don't remember what you did for them, they remember how you made them feel. Our
Yes.
buyers are exactly the same way. If I can close a deal and have somebody say to me, James, this has been a real pleasure, I have won the day.
That's true. That's true, James. I am. You talk about the topic about the emotion buyer, the data buyer. Okay, and I'm also a disc profiler. Do you know that tool?
Absolutely. I'm very familiar with Crystal Knows. I have my own disc profile assertion. I can tell you
Okay.
what I am.
Okay. I am a IDS.
Okay. I am an ENFJ. Yeah.
J.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I tend to, I'm a charismatic, I'm
Okay.
an
Okay.
inspiring teacher. I'm a loyal guide, right? And I think loyalty is big. I'm loyal to everybody that's in my network. I'm loyal to my employers. I'm loyal to all the things that I should be loyal to.
Mhm.
And then, of course, I have this like weird relationship with reality and fiction. As a storyteller, I would.
But James, when you talk about the emotional buyers and the data buyers, I think that crossing that with the disc profile,
Yeah.
okay, we can also adjust our communication about the tone of the voice
Ah,
and about the body language, because it is completely different for a person that is with the hands closed, body closed, and suddenly as a buyer in front of him or her with these arms opening. No, it's going to tire him. And storytelling is important, but you also need to adjust your communication, your body language to the other person. That's not easy, I know, but there is when you can apply the active listening. And active listening is paying attention to the words, but also to the body language. Do you agree with this?
So I think that only about, and I've heard this before, again, this is my friend John in my brain. I think
Okay.
about 7% of our communication is the words that we choose to use.
That's true.
Another 33% is our tones, the way that our words
That's
come
right.
across. And then the rest of that communication is nonverbal. It's the way we
That's right.
lean in. It's the way we move our hands. It's our shoulder placement. It's the way our head motions. It's the way I shake my head yes when I speak to you, as I mentioned before, right? There's these types of cues are communicative 100%. And that is why when you're telling stories on video is usually the best way to do it, especially for salespeople. I am still, after all these years, I mean, since 2014, we have had solutions like Vidyard and Loom and Drift that have been out here for sales, specifically designed for salespeople. And they are video platforms. Create videos for your prospects. Do the thing to stand out in the inbox. LinkedIn, you can send them manually on LinkedIn. You can send them natively in your DMs to first degree connections only.
Yes.
These advancements have existed for so long and been available to us and effective for so long because when we use video, we are able to use 100% of our communication, not just 7. And I imagine people thinking to themselves, well, then why is email my number one sales channel? Well, probably because leadership is of a certain generation. That generation still defaults to the inbox. A time is rapidly approaching where that generation will make its final swan dance out. And the new generation will be extremely responsive to things like voice notes and video over sitting there and plowing through clearly automated and AI generated emails. So think about that. And I have a friend, my friend Ronell Richards will often say, it does not take an entire day to manage your inbox. If it does, you need task and time management skills. So there's this element of, where should I spend my time? Well, if you're in sales and storytelling is something you'd like to try and use to your advantage, spend it on video. What's up, Eduardo? My name's James. I probably reached out to you in the past. I'm trying to connect because you do X, and people like you, they often get this from me. Let's chat real quick. No rush, no pressure. I'll talk to you soon. I'll follow up if I don't hear back. Have a great day, Eduardo. That's a great video. Took less than 30 seconds. It stands out. People's curiosity gets piqued when they see a play button, whether it's a video or a voice note. I am guilty. If I see it, I'm like, what did this person say? I have to hit the play button. So use this natural brain chemistry that we all have to your advantage. This is like probably the best tip to take away from this. Storytelling, video, always.
I do agree. And sometimes it happens with me. Some companies told me, please, Eduardo, send me the proposal by email.
Yeah.
No, I want an online meeting. No, by email. Okay, no problem. And James, I record a video explaining the proposal.
Yep.
And telling what they are going to win. What are the skills that are going to improve and what are the results that they will benefit with that sales training.
Absolutely. I have an example here that I can share. So let me, look, I can share my screen. You don't know what you've done here, pal. All right, so here we go.
No, I think you can share.
Yeah, I did. There we go. Boom. Can you see it?
Let me see.
I think it's backstage. So you can pull it up.
I don't know. One moment. No, let me see.
It's right down there on the bottom of the screen.
I edit this part later. No worry.
No problem. but you should see it
Okay.
down there at the bottom.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's this. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, so this is a cold video. This is the first message that I sent to somebody that accepted my connection request. I did this yesterday. Now, I want
Okay.
everyone to pay attention to this video, okay? Look, I
Okay.
do a little salute, right? That's how I do it. This video. So here's the
Okay.
video. What's up, Isaac? Hey, man, I love the profile picture. What's up, Isaac? Hey, man, I love the profile picture. Super festive. I went with the green. I feel like more attached to the green than I do the red most seasons. Anyway, as you might know, User Gems is one of those pieces of software, those solutions that get brought up constantly on our show. We would like to start funneling our audience into the loving arms of your salespeople in 2026. And I think we have a couple ideas that would work really well. So I want to share them with you. Are you open to this conversation? I am not going to be the person that thinks that we're going to close anything at all in December. I would rather talk about what the future looks like and come up with a plan that makes sense to really experiment with our audience, because we believe that your buyers and users are pretty much 100% of our audience. Let me know if you're down, and we'll put something on the calendar. No rush, no pressure, and I will talk to you soon. Happy holidays. All right. Couple of things to note in this video, okay? First of all, let's look at his response. That's probably the most important. Look how fast it came. I sent that video at 1:30. He responded at 2:25, less than an hour. Now, I don't know about you, but I think the average number of touches that it takes to generate a meaningful conversation with a cold prospect is something like 16, 20 touches right now. To even have a meaningful response. This person got a video from me, and within an hour, he was like, can you send me a breakdown of the following things that I need? Absolutely. I will definitely share those things with you. Thank you so much. And now I won't sugarcoat it. He was very quick to say, I don't think this is for us. But I got to that no in a day. Forget 16 touches, forget 20 touches, forget 5 calls back and forth. He was like, this isn't for us. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. On to the next prospect. Now, don't get me wrong. This person has not heard the last of me. I'm going to come back in a month. I'm going to come back in 2 weeks and be like, hey, we're doing this show. I think this is totally relevant to you. By all means, join us, catch the vibe. No ask, just a give. Hey, want to come? You want to do this? Join us, right? Like, it's just an invite. It is very difficult to not have a conversation with me. I don't sell in my messages. I give the context of what our meeting will be about, selling, and I sell at the meeting. People always want to sell what they do in the message. Stop this madness. Tell the stories and sell in the meeting. That is where selling should happen.
And James, we all agree that is very important. So the question is, why don't salespeople are using storytelling?
So a couple of reasons I think they don't do it. The first and probably the most notable reason is that our educational institutions, especially in the United States of America, dropped the ball on preparing our children to be able to tell good stories.
Okay.
That's
James,
right out of the gate. You're welcome, United States of America educational system. From me to
James,
you. Okay.
James, just one moment, because I needed to tell you this. In Portugal, people say, you don't know Eduardo, but here in Portugal, it's a mess. People in Spain tell me, you don't know Eduardo, but in Spain, it's a mess. No, James, around the world, we are human being.
Yeah.
And I think the point is we aren't educated to think.
It's true. We are educated to pass tests.
That's right.
And I absolutely agree with you. Now, I can't speak to the educational institutions around the world. My 4 children only went to school here.
Okay.
What I can say is that as younger people enter the workforce, you can see the gap in communication.
That's right.
And this right here is the problem. If you can't articulate yourself formulate a value proposition in an effective manner, how can you expect to create some level of interest or momentum with a buyer? You've got to be able to deliver, not just with accuracy, with confidence, with a flow that makes sense, with a tone that is attractive. You want to know the best thing sellers can do? Take an acting class. Go sit in a drama class at a high school and listen to the feedback that the instructors are giving the students about delivery, about the way that they present themselves, about the way they put their chest out when they speak, about the way they enunciate their words. These skills are highly transferable in the sales economy.
James, in neuroscience, it is proved that to put concepts in memory, you could choose emotion or you could choose repetition. And I think that's the problem. Sales leaders and the teachers are choosing just the repetition. They aren't choosing the emotion. And storytelling is emotion. And that's a way you can put all the concepts, all your incomes in the memory of your customer.
Yeah. Well, so I want to tackle a couple of things you said there. You talk about memory. I am guilty of rehearsal. I rehearse how my call is going to go if somebody picks up the phone. I do. When I first started out as an SDR, for example, a sales development rep doing cold calls, I had a 30-minute drive to work from my home. That 30 minutes was spent rehearsing what my opener was going to be all day that day.
Okay.
And I would commit to a specific opener that I was going to test for each day. Over time, I narrowed it down to 3 or 4 openers that were my best performing openers. And I would name the amount of conversations. I would count the number of conversations that I would earn using the opener. So maybe I come in and I say on Monday, "Hey, what's going on, Larry? Is this a good time?" And the next day I come in and I'm like, "Larry, what's up?" Or "Jonathan, what's up? Is this a bad time?" Right? That the next day I come in and I'm like, "I'd like to speak with Eduardo, please." Right? And I'm doing a different opener each time. Which one is going to get me the next step? And I'm making the tick marks, right? I'm upping the number. I'm keeping a spreadsheet of how many conversations I earn. Man, this was electric for me. And I was piecing together all these different things that worked to get me to the next level of conversation, the next stage of that opening call. 3 minutes was what I was given. If I was lucky on a cold call, I got 3. And that's a really long time for a cold call. 3 minutes is
true.
a long time. People think, oh, 3 minutes, that's crazy. It is. So much happens in that 3 minutes, right? Especially if they give you permission to continue to speak. So much happens and you got to be ready for it. I mean, I'm still guilty after 20 years of this. I'm still guilty. I'll go through dials, and somebody will pick up and I'll be like, "Oh shit, somebody answered the phone." Right? You kind of get like, "Oh, I was totally expecting to leave this crazy voicemail that I've been working on." But rehearsal. There's another tip I'll give you. If you are new to this and you're trying to find your stride, stand up to deliver your opener. Stand up to deliver your script. Do it in front of a mirror. I know that sounds wild, but here's what will happen. If you're looking at yourself while you deliver, you'll start to feel the things that don't feel like you. When a tone hits that you weren't intending, you'll see it in your face. You'll watch your confidence deflate, right? These are things that will get you comfortable with your delivery. Just like actors have to be comfortable enough on stage to deliver consistently, regardless of who's in the audience, we have to be able to deliver consistently. Now, I want to be very clear about what that does not mean. That does not mean that you should pick up a phone, dial someone's number, and then rattle off some crazy pitch that you have for 9 minutes without taking a breath. That is not delivering regardless of who's in the audience. No. That is cold pitching and what I like to call pitch slapping. And feel free to steal that phrase. It's my favorite term. I wrote about it in 2016, I think, and it's starting to catch on. I absolutely love it. Nobody likes to be pitch slapped.
No.
We all buy stuff. Everybody loves to buy stuff. Makes me feel good when I buy stuff. But getting pitched from somebody that I'm not expecting to be pitched from cold
No.
and for like no reason, and usually for something that I don't even care about, no, I'll pass. Thank you very much.
But James, how do you think that how can sales professionals start identifying, structuring, and refining their own personal stories that they become natural sales tools?
Okay,
how can we do that?
So I'm going to give you a couple of ways that you should, or possibly I would recommend you start with. First of all, tell your stories to AI.
Okay.
If you're a ChatGPT user, we'll just use ChatGPT as the best possible, lowest hanging fruit for an AI solution for this, right? There are a lot of other ones out there, but this is a great place to do this. Tell your story in AI. And no, you don't even have to write it. You can hit the speak button and just say it. Tell your story. Then ask it to redo it with a sales twist and tell it what you sell. And it will shape this story in a way that you can then take it and make it your own. That's the key. Make it your own always, right? It's important you don't skip that step. Some people will do an iteration of something in AI and then they copy and paste, right? And then they rehearse it and they learn it, but it reads like a robot wrote it. And when we read it like a robot wrote it, it's not our authentic voice. And that sucks. Nobody likes that. It's terrible for your buyers. So do it so that you own it and then practice it. Tell it to your family. Tell it to your kids. Here's another tip, and this is going to sound crazy. I know. Pick up a damn book. Read out loud. Get comfortable with words. We are all so nervous when we speak. Whatever that thing is that people have that makes them nervous when they speak in public, I was born without one of those. I don't have one. Develop this. It has been so beneficial for my sales conversations. I strongly recommend more reading. I was never a reader. As a kid, you could not pay me to read. It was never going to happen. I can't keep my face out of books now as an adult. And it's helped me use better vocabulary. It's helped me not stutter and stammer when I deliver. It helps me on this very podcast as I ad-lib all of these answers to you. But this is the nature of sales in the modern age. How we articulate a problem, how we enunciate the words when we speak about the solution, how we have a strong call to action that is almost impossible for our buyer to ignore.
I think, well, you just give to me great examples that we can start right now using that. But I think that we also, sales professionals, started to do something great. And Mafalda talk about that too. And it is about schedule meetings with your customers and asking them, what are the incomes with my service? What are the incomes with my product? And use that stories with the new customers. Use that stories when you are prospecting. Use that stories. You don't need to create fake stories.
No.
Okay? When we talk about storytelling, we are talking about putting the reviews in a speech, putting the reviews in something that is touchable, that it is completely different that you say, I have a great product, or that company used this and have these results.
I want to tackle a couple of things here because I like where your head is, and I agree with Mafalda. I want to say that when you have a cold call, stories are difficult. if you are cold calling, it's unlikely that you'll have the time to even get into the meat of a story, right?
Mhm.
This is more of a qualification process, an interest process.
I
That is the
agree.
purpose of cold call. Do you have interest in this? Great. Are you qualified to have the interest in this?
Of course.
Are you even able to leverage it for one reason or the other, right? That is the question we answer on cold calls. When
Mhm.
you earn a scheduled meeting from a cold call, this particular 30-minute window, 1 hour window with baked in interest, with established qualification, it is story time. At this moment, you can choose the best, most relevant stories for the company, the value proposition that they have, the person that you're about to talk with. Tailoring your presentations in this way is probably the better flow. Now, when it comes to scheduled calls, I think there is an expectation of a presentation.
Okay.
The pattern interrupt that I find most effective for sellers is to deny that person that presentation. Show them only the things they want to see. It's easy if you imagine. So I'm sure that you've probably been exposed to several products that have many features, many functions. It turns out most people buy solutions just to solve one particular problem, maybe two. So let's call it 20%, right? So, all right, fantastic. Our habit as sellers is to go through the motions. We do this thing where they get on the call, it's scheduled, you have an hour, you have an hour. So you're like, small talk, small talk. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen? Great. Okay, at any point that you see something awesome, feel free to stop me. I'm going to go through the side panel on the left side here with all of our features. Oh my God, like already, I guarantee at least 30% of the room has been like, well, this is about to be a waste of my time, right? I can't believe I have to sit through this crap for an hour. The better thing to do is, and again, I can't believe how much I reiterate this from John Barrows, stop opening this way and instead say something like this. I probably have 100 things I could show you that would impact your day-to-day. Why don't you guys tell me what you want to see first? I'd wager that after they, as a group, or even the one individual that's your decision maker, tells you what they want to see, you'll spend the entire meeting talking about that one thing.
Of course.
And that's the thing that they'll buy it for.
Of course.
After they buy it and solve that problem, salespeople, your job is done. It's finished. Now the job belongs to your customer success team.
Mhm.
And those people are to work towards full adoption, sell the other 19 features, pitch them on its value throughout the year, right? That's their job. Salespeople, you're done. Other than being a consistent presence, a semi-consistent presence in your buyer's life, your job is finished. And here's what I mean by that. We sell to people and build relationships with them for 90 days, 120 days. If you're an enterprise account, you might spend 2 years building a bridge between you and this company. Then when you close that deal and they sign that piece of paper, I never talk to you again.
No, you can't do that.
This is the worst possible thing that you could do. Because now you just sent that red flag up to those people that said, I just wanted your money all along.
No, you can't do that. That's impossible. That's impossible, James.
The truth that no one will tell you is that as you tell those stories to those buyers, and as they inch closer and closer to signature and then sign that document, the moment they sign it, you just became a part of their story. And you're going to tell that story to new buyers as you build that relationship further.
That's true. That's true. James, we are almost at the end of this great episode, and thanks a lot, James.
Yeah.
And if there's one core insight from today's episode, it's this: sales is not about convincing, it's about connecting, and the stories connect faster than logic ever will. And like you said before, Buyers don't remember our pitch, they remember how you made them feel. And the stories are the bridge between emotion and the trust. So, James, let's turn this episode into action. Can you give me three concrete step action plan to start using storytelling this week? Can you give me?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 steps that you can take right now that are going to aid you in better storytelling. First of all, decide on your arc of narratives. What is the narrative that you're about to tell? Sometimes it's about a disagreement between 2 individuals or two ideas. Sometimes it's the hero's journey, a story about a prospect that you had, a buyer that you had that used your service and went through this metamorphosis and came out smelling like roses on the other side. That's a big epic journey tale, right? Sometimes it's like very factual story. Here's where we were percentage-wise when we started. Here's where they were once they finished implementation. And that's a data story that follows a lot of numbers and percentages and increases over time. Know your buyer. If you look at your buyer and you can say which narrative is going to resonate with this person, that's the first step. Decide on the narrative that's going to resonate with this person you're about to talk with. Step 1. Step 2. Use AI to improve your storytelling, not tell the story for you. So it's important, once again, that you own the story. It is your story. It's your language. It's your tonality. If you stick a story into AI and then ask it to do something with it, you very well could lose some of you in there. So read it. Put it in a document, go back and rewrite it so that it's yours and your language and your emotion and your tone that makes sense to you. That's important. And then finally, the third step, practice. Everybody thinks that they can just do this. They can wing it. Oh, I'm just going to hop on this call. Totally casual. Stop this madness. It's not casual. This is your livelihood. This is your career. This is your profession. And these are your customers. Give a shit about how you do it, because if you don't, they're not going to give a shit about what you're selling. And then I'll say this about this third point. It's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun selling it, no one is having fun buying it from you.
That's true. James, I remember a quote, and it is, discipline starts when motivation ends. And that's the final step, practicing. Discipline.
Yep. Okay. Practice will always make us better. And that's the goal. Get a little bit better every day.
That's true. That's true. James, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for bringing not just wisdom, but authenticity and energy to this conversation.
It was my pleasure. I appreciate you and what you're doing. And if I can connect with anybody at all out there, I am a wealth of resources. Check us out, sellbetter.xyz. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks a lot, James.